All right, welcome to Craft and Chaos, a show all about how messy it is to make things, but how we love it anyway. How we love it anyway. See, that was messy. I am Ryan Dalton, your host for the evening, or your drive to work, or that extra long bathroom break that's your one moment of peace. Either way, whether you're a creator of things, a fan of created things, or an international fugitive, welcome. It is not just me in your ears. We have a rogues gallery of artists and creators across multiple media: stage, screen, ears, eyes, couch. Fellow chaoticians, please introduce yourself, starting with Misty.
Hello, I'm Misty. Quite a long bathroom break you're having if you're listening to this podcast episode.
Maybe they went to Chipotle. I mean, come on.
That's right. I'm a podcast producer, a television producer, recovering a coach, a creative. Lovely to be here.
Kyle, you're up next.
I'm for all the people who are walking their dogs.
That's that too. Yeah.
We're happy that we could be a part of this experience between you and your pet, and maybe someone you don't want to talk to. We're happy to be the other voice that's listening to in your ears.
Where you just they try to talk to you and you just shake your head and point at your ear to show you have earbuds in.
Exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that. There's the international symbol for like I'm talking but not talking to you. You just point at your own ear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even 10 years ago, that would not have meant anything, probably. Yeah. But we all know it. Okay, Pete, what's up?
Hi, I'm Pete Wright, and I actually make this podcast on an extra long bathroom break.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, it's a bold choice.
Yeah. Stop bragging, Pete.
Man.
I'm the luckiest podcaster alive.
Pete's life is just a string of long bathroom breaks.
That's right. I'm gastrointestinally compromised. Have I mentioned that?
Well, you're very brave to let me host, Pete. And so we're going to have some fun tonight. First up, we have Kyle.
I have a thing, yeah. So something happened between when we last recorded and now that I wanted to talk about. I got a rejection.
Oof.
Finally, yes, Kyle. God, down to earth, man.
So we talked about Stephen King and his Spike, and hanging up all this. Like, I would say I don't get a lot of rejections because I usually don't get any response at all. I would say 99% of the time when I put a thing out, I just never hear back, never even get a thanks for applying, thanks for anything. It's just silence. So the fact that I actually got a no was a victory, even though it didn't feel like the victory when I read it. So it's still the big shot to the solar plexus of like, oh, but I'm brilliant and amazing, and I'm the most special boy ever, and no one can do words like I do words. Why can't you see that?
Oh, Kyle.
The next it was of the rejections I've gotten, it was a really good one because it started out with it was not an open-faced shit sandwich, I guess. Because it had some really nice things to say about the script, which I can't remember at all because thank you, brain. And then it said a word no, and here's why. And so that you don't get very often. So that was really nice because when I read that, I was like, oh, it was never going to happen. So it's not just, maybe not the script, maybe not right now. Like when they sort of went, this is what we're looking for. I was like, oh, this is not what you're looking for at all. Like, I just wish it had been a little more clear about this is what we're looking for and this is what we're not looking for. So I could have been like, oh, I could have saved us all some time if I had just known this right at the start. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it with everybody. That is sort of like how you don't have to tell rejection stories if you don't want to, because I know they're painful. But like, how do you deal with rejection when it actually shows its ugly face to you?
I can get rolling with that. Yeah. So I had this one book that we were sending out. This was a while back, and there was an editor that I was hopeful for. We had a good relationship before, and so sent it to them, and came back with a very nice rejection, and said, I love this and this and this, but here's a couple things I didn't quite jive with, so I think we'll have to pass. And my agent had passed that letter on to me, and I got back to my agent and I said, those things that she listed are easily fixable. Easily, I can do this, I can do that, and by an agent who's always very real with me, said, Ryan, she doesn't want the book. she she liked it. She didn't love it. She gave you some nice things, but she gave you a few convenient reasons she didn't like. She doesn't want it. I was like, okay, no, I will not waste another moment thinking about it. Thank you.
And I think that it's important to remember that people as a whole, as a species, we're conflict averse, right?
Yeah.
It's very rare that someone is going to be fully honest and fully direct about like, I hated your plot line or like, or this reminds me, your main character reminded me of my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend or something. So keeping that in mind and reading the note behind the note has always been an interesting exercise. But I think I can only speak to the screenwriting process and industry, but a lot of times the people who are reading your stuff are junior execs, if you're lucky. It's usually an executive assistant or maybe even an intern. And so you've got to have like smashing luck in the sense that a stressed out, overworked intern or executive assistant read the first 3 pages of your thing, liked it enough to keep going, has a good enough relationship with their boss where when they say, I loved this, you should read this, their boss goes, okay, not get out of my office, you inept, And just knowing like the sheer volume, and I can speak to that because I was that executive assistant reading scripts when I worked at Lionsgate Television as my very first official real job in the industry in a career, and it was scripted television development. And I was working on shows like Mad Men, Nurse Jackie, Blue Mountain State, Nashville. And we had at any given point like 20 pilots in development. Do you guys remember pilots as a side note?
Yeah. Oh God, I loved pilots.
The before times, I remember. Yeah,
right.
Before times, yes. And just seeing the sheer volume of things that came in and realizing that at the end of the day, we would have, 40 pilots that were fantastic. And we only had room to produce like 8. And it's like picking an ice cream flavor. Also, it's like, I might just prefer coffee flavored ice cream and I'm the one who gets to pick. That doesn't mean that your vanilla chocolate swirl ice cream is bad. Right. But just keeping in mind that like the people who are reading things, I've gotten rejection letters from, different TV writing festivals, and I've gotten to the second and third rounds of some of those places as well. And sometimes the feedback that they give you go, oh, you didn't read this.
Yeah.
You didn't actually read this, when it's a festival that's required to like give you a yes or no. And sometimes the compliments and the rejection letters are worth the price of admission, right? Like hearings, especially if you're starting out. I'm talking to the three seasoned creatives on this podcast that I'm staring at. But when you're starting out, having someone say, I loved the character development in this. I couldn't stop following Nancy. She was incredible. It just felt like some of the dialogue fell flat, right? I'm going to gleam on to that compliment as much as I can. But rejection sucks. But I also think that's how you build the muscle of your own taste and learning what notes and feedback to let in.
What did you do, Misty, when were you in charge? Did you have the authority to write rejection letters for submissions?
The volume that I got of scripts at Lionsgate. There was one point I was supervising 14 graduate school interns that all reported to me to try and get through script coverage.
Yeah.
Right. And you weren't allowed to submit unless you were a writer with representation.
Yeah,
so you had to be at CAA, Gersh, ICM, one of the big agencies to even get there. But when I loved the script, man, did I go to bat for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Same in publishing. If a reader finds something that's like really, really hits them, then they'll try to drag that thing through as many gates as they can possibly get it through if they really believe in it. And ultimately, if someone doesn't believe in it enough to do that, you don't really want them. That's not who you want to work with anyway. On that particular book, anyway. Maybe you'll write, something else that they'll jive with. But it's such a slog to get anything actually created and out there in the world that you want the person to be really, really passionate and invested.
Totally. And I want to add one more thing. The level of burnout that is experienced by the people receiving submissions of any kind, creative submissions of any kind, their weekend reading list, the hours that they have to put in, I just would take it with a grain of salt if you're getting a lot of rejections or there's a lot of silence, because sometimes you're so burnt. Have you ever tried to focus on like an email, you guys, when you're burnt out and you like can't even take in a paragraph in that email? Like that can happen to people all the time.
How about a podcast like while you're recording it?
Rude. I'm gonna write Pete a rejection letter.
All right, that's the end of episode 3. Good night, everybody.
And now it's a trio. So
I think it's so. I think all of this is so valuable, and I think especially the act of receiving rejection. Like, I want to go back to that, Kyle. Like, what do you do to process that rejection? Because I don't know about you, I have a little red wagon that I drag behind me all the time, and I take that rejection and I shove it down into that little red wagon, and I just keep on hauling. What do you do?
After a while, you sort of have taken, like Misty was talking about, you've taken a couple punches, so you've built up a little bit of that stamina too. It still hurts, like, because it's like an arrow, so it's like brrr, and like you feel it in, as opposed to something sort of passing through or whatever too. It's still in there, but it's like, so then it's the process of like getting it out and then getting the healing process started. It sucks. But it was nice having this where I could look at it and go, oh, okay, I was never even in the race. Like it was like, I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't that I hit him at the wrong time, like you were talking about. It wasn't that it was the wrong time of year or like subject matter. It was literally like, this does not fall within our parameter. It's sort of like, we only make movies about bikers, and this is a movie about a horse. Like, we don't do horses, we do bikes. And you go, oh, okay, got it. Why did I send you my horse script? I'm very sorry about that.
Because what is a bike but a horse with wheels? Come on.
Yeah, I know that was my point, but so as sort of as the days went on, I was like, oh, okay, all right, then it wasn't so bad, because I still know that the script was great, and even they in the notes said the script was great. And like Misty was talking about, they specifically mentioned like, oh, these two characters are the best part about it. I'm like, yes, they are. Like, so you noticed that. Good. I'm glad. So that took a lot. But so it's, once again, it'll find its time. That's like, hey, that wasn't the moment for that, but it'll come.
When I was younger, I started in broadcast journalism, and there was a time when I was in a working newsroom for some years, and because of the way the news business works, it works very fast. And I will never forget what I have now called Pete's rejection era, because I remember so viscerally a string of, it feels like week after week after week, where every story I was writing for air, my editor was like, this is a terrible story. What is happening to you? Did you take some sort of trauma? And it was over and over and over again. I was in a cycle of rejection, and I could not get out of my head. Now, for me, I was aware immediately that things that I was creating did not line up with what was, what we were trying to broadcast. I was aware immediately. I was rejected daily. And the next day, I was moving on to something else. And eventually, you kind of get to the other side of it. You'll note I'm not in the local broadcast business anymore. I'm not doing that job. But I do think there is something to the churn of rejection, to being able to see that was yesterday and today is a new opportunity. As long as I can beat the pink slip, as long as I can correct myself before I'm asked to move on. And luckily they had, they hired me for a reason, and I stayed with the business. But I think the idea of being able to move through it very quickly was beneficial to me. Like being able to take rejection, eat it, swallow it, move on was a huge help, because otherwise it's in the red wagon and it's with me for the rest of my life.
I ended up kind of over the years and the process and the rejection stumbling into something that worked for me. When I get a rejection, I say to myself, you have 5 minutes to feel as sad as you want to feel. 5 minutes, go for it. And then at the end of 5 minutes, you chuck it and you get back up and you get to work.
It's the Jack Shepherd method of process.
Yeah. So yeah, you just, so you don't deny that it sucks. You let yourself experience it for a little bit, but you don't let yourself wallow. You just get up and go. And I will say, if I had tried doing that at the beginning, I would not have been good at that. It's with some time and experience and you're like, okay, I've survived every rejection so far, so I can do this and just kind of fold it into my life and not let it disrupt things. And that's worked for me so far.
Yeah, I think you got to grieve it. You got to feel it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't deny it. Yeah, or it'll just build up. And well, at least I experienced something, and I feel like I've heard other authors express something similar. It's like when you're first starting out, the first rounds of rejections you get, because they're inevitable, they don't really upset you. It's kind of like a badge of like, oh, hey, I'm in the game. I'm getting rejections. Everybody gets rejections. That's just the way it is. You get those before you get the yes. But then as they keep rolling in, that's where it's just slowly like you're the nail and the hammer is like slowly just driving you into the wood. And before you realize it, you're almost up to your neck. And you're like,
why are there so many hammers?
This no longer feels like a rite of passage. This just sucks. And that's when you have to start developing a coping mechanism and just make it okay. This is part of the routine. You got to make it okay again. So that's how I ended up in that spot.
Do any of you have a, let's just say, legal, not maladaptive sort of treat behavior that you give yourself when you face a rejection, like to cheer yourselves up? Do you have a ritual?
I used to. My thing was I would always buy myself something ridiculous when I finished a script. So like basically, I sort of set myself like $25 or whatever, something really stupid. I mean, not like like a pen I really like or something. Like no, nothing useful.
Right.
It was always something like I would never like actually spend money on, but then it would give me a little bit of joy. But I was so after the years I sort of like almost train myself out of it because I was like, oh, I'm just enjoying the writing. Like I'm actually not, I don't really need the thing at the end anymore because what I'm looking forward to when I end something is the feeling of having written rather than writing. So, but I think giving yourself that little something to go for, I think is great, especially for newbie writers. Yeah. Give yourself something to work for. So at the end you have that. If nothing else, if the script never goes anywhere, if the book never goes anywhere, at least you have that thing that your prize, your trophy, your medal.
Yeah, that's good.
That writers. Squishmallow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wait, what's your treat?
Me?
What do you treat yourself with? Yeah.
Oh, it's always food, but I just feel like you're underselling treat motivation. I go buy tennis shoes and I'm like, I need a treat. That was hard. I don't like that was too much. That was sensory overload and I need to get a treat. Yeah. It's usually something foodie and I like food. Or it's there was a long time where it was just paper products, like really a nice notepad. I don't write anywhere. Like I don't write at all, like with a pen. It's all keyboard. But I like the look and feel of paper, and so so it's stuff like that. Like I just little stuff that makes me feel good. Very treat motivated.
Yeah. I think also in rejection, it's probably really nice to take your inner child out who really wanted, the adults to like their story and get a little ice cream. Yeah. Just tend to yourself,
Yeah, right. Just hanging at the grocery store and I need some ding dongs.
You know what? Little me would like a dozen score bars, and so that's what you're doing.
That's right.
Oh man, we're all 8-year-olds on the inside.
That's right. Forever.
Well, Kyle, I'm sorry about your rejection letter, but I'm so glad that it was so clear that it was not anything of your own doing.
Yeah. It was one of the few happy endings to a sad ending.
A
No more
happy
horse
ending to a
scripts.
sad ending.
No more, yeah, exactly. Don't send horse scripts to a biker place.
Or write the ultimate horse script.
Oh, and then they can't say no.
They
There's
can't
a
say
horse
no. It's a horse on
riding a bike.
You know what?
Be so good they can't deny you. We're
That's right.
changing our entire model here at this studio.
Yeah.
We're
That's
all
right.
horses all the time.
All
now.
horses.
And I'm at the forefront.
Oh boy, I love it. Okay, so moving on to our next segment. That's right, we
Right.
have segments. We're
Let's
fancy.
say I think it's time. I think it's time for an ad break.
Yeah, as you know, we are a world famous podcast, and we get sponsors. And so here's the latest one who is clamoring to be a part of the show.
Yeah.
And just enjoy this.
I believe this is a returning sponsor. So.
Oh, good. Well, enjoy it. Yeah.
Hello, fellow humans. Are you interested in learning about shingles? Or drought? Or mortgages? Or dry, flaky skin? You must be. Because these are the things you've been searching for on the World Wide Web. But these words all seem to make you sad. Here are 2 more words that should make you the opposite of sad. Goods. And services. That's where we come in. We're the other orange. We offer services, and we also offer goods. The word good is hidden inside goods. Did you find it? The other orange. A place for human beings, being human.
Hands down, my favorite bit. It's so stupid. The word good is hidden inside
The
of
word
goods.
good is hidden.
Did you find it?
I don't know if I am allowed to laugh during the ad break.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That just scratches my favorite kind of itch, the weird,
Oh my god.
weird humor thing. Oh, it's the best. Oh man, I was cackling.
Their goods and services.
Yeah, so if you need goods or services,
I am a fan of goods and services.
I'll
Actually.
see that the other orange is perfect.
They are
Oh,
so
boy.
good.
Those are just.
What a
I hope.
duel for me.
I hope the other orange stays a sponsor for a long, long time because they
I
have
don't know.
the best goods and services.
As long
and
as
the
there
best
are goods and services, the other orange will be there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah, and there will always be good. There. Okay, cool. Yeah, perfect. I'm still recovering. Okay, Misty,
Yes.
you have something fun for us today.
I do. It's so dumb. And I came
love
to
dumb.
the start of our recording while we were chatting before we hit record. And I was thinking, God, they're going to hate this idea. This is so dumb. And then it turns out that one of our fellow hosts also showed up with the same idea. And I thought, wow, he really is dumb also.
Yes,
is
and
what I
that's the
thought.
thing. We're in good company. We're both dumb, and we both pre-apologized for how dumb the idea is at the same time.
And then we both went, oh no. And so
Oh, no.
I decided that mine would be more dumb than
Mhm.
Pete's. And so I'd like to go first so that I don't have to follow
You know-
Pete's.
I think we saved mine. I'm going to bank it. It's going to be fun. We'll
another
do it. It'll be a
episode?
surprise later.
You might want it to be a surprise in 3 minutes if mine doesn't go over.
Let's see how
Yeah,
this
keep it in your
works.
back pocket, Pete,
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
case. Yeah.
So I think in the spirit of showing and not telling, right? We talk a lot, we tell a lot about the creative process so far in these first few episodes. And I thought, why don't we do something, active? I just loved how we read Kyle's script last time about the banana bread in the sewage factory.
Yep.
The sort of moist banana poop bread.
Yeah.
That was fun. And I thought, what can I do? And I speaking of children and our inner child, I've put together a Mad Lib. And so we're going to create a Mad Lib about the creative process. So I'm just going to go in order of the folks that I see. Let me just pull it up so I can type it in as we're going. Okay. So Ryan, I need an adjective from you, please.
Tempestuous.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. Pete, I need a noun, please.
Breadbasket.
Okay, Kyle, I need a verb ending in ing.
Trotting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Nice.
And I need a time of day, please, Ryan.
Midday. Or do you need a specific time?
You choose. Dealer's choice.
Let's go with 1:18 a.m.
Specificity in comedy always hits harder. That's so good. Okay, Pete, adjective number 2, please.
Gory.
Indecisive. Okay.
Indecisive was not edged.
Yeah. What'd you say? What did you say, Pete?
Gory.
Gory. Okay. Okay. And Kyle, I need a noun, please.
Scooter.
Great. All right. Ryan, adjective, please.
Wily.
Pete, I need a body part.
Breadbasket.
Nice.
Kyle, I need a number.
42.
Perfect.
Okay. This brings us to the birth of our Mad Lib.
Oh,
wow.
Is there someone here that would like to? You know what? I'm gonna volunteer Pete.
Okay.
Pete, I'm gonna text this to you.
Oh dear.
And you're gonna read this.
I'm ready.
On air. Right now. And this is all about your creative process. So I thank you for sharing this with us from the bottom of your heart.
My creative process is quite tempestuous. Every morning, I grab my breadbasket and start trotting because I do my best work at 1:18 a.m. When inspiration strikes, I become gory. Surround myself with Scooter. The secret to my creativity is always touching my Wily Breadbasket exactly 42 times before I start. This ritual has never failed me, and that's how I created my masterpiece.
We don't have touching my Wily Breadbasket shirts. I don't even know what we're doing here.
That was almost the start of a romance novel.
I think it was the next book in the Fourth Wing series.
Wait a second. I think I also messed up because that second breadbasket was supposed to be a body part.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's breadbasket.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. He was going off of the rules of operation.
Colloquial.
Oh,
Oh, Misty. Oh, you adorable,
It's like this
adorable.
more visual
Misty.
podcast. I covered my mouth.
For the listeners at home, Misty covered her mouth, and she's covering it again.
She's scandalized.
Ah.
Oh, I feel chagrined. Is that
I feel like gory was not the right word. I think the word should have been like carnal. Would have really put the icing on.
Yeah.
If
I
someone
I prefaced it.
Yeah.
The creative process
Excellent.
is not always glamorous.
No.
if
Sometimes,
someone out there
sometimes
has
it's a gory breadbasket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If someone out there has not published an indie romance novel called "Touching My Wily Breadbasket" by the end of the
It's
week,
yours.
I will be very disappointed.
But
Please,
make
somebody.
sure, please, pepper it with ChatGPT prompts because that's how we know you're serious.
Oh, amazing! Thank you, Misty. That was fun. That was
good.
stupid
I like
fun. So I have something to talk about, and I'll express my thoughts. And at one point, I will invite some audience participation. And then at the end, I would love to hear your thoughts.
We begin with a monologue.
Yes. So in this TED Talk, I will be discussing the topic, you don't have writer's block. Okay. Now, it's just a term for like a kind of mental creative block, and it can apply to any artistic endeavor, but this is how I hear of it, most in my circles. And over the decades, maybe even centuries, it's taken on this like almost mythical status. Like it's some dark curse, you can't do anything about. Like, oh, did you hear about Jenny? Man, she's got writer's block. Oh, no, I'll pray for her. But here's the thing. Jenny doesn't have writer's block. And neither do you. And neither does anyone. So, why is that the case? Because writer's block is not real. It's not a thing. But if it's not real, then what's actually going on? Well, if we leave like the 3% for actual life stuff that can disrupt your flow for a time, the other 97%, what is the thing that is masquerading as writer's block? Here's audience participation number 1. Does anyone have a guess?
Perfectionism, expectations.
Those are all offshoots of the answer, but you're close.
Plot goblins.
Now I will say there could be a time when you have written yourself in a corner and maybe that's why you're blocked. Not the number one answer, but it's a good answer.
Mine is usually what Misty said, and also I don't wanna.
I've had a
Well,
bad case of that for a
I got
long time.
such a bad case of I don't wanna.
well, I mean, general laziness is a perfectly acceptable
Yeah.
explanation.
Right. But it masks as it's an easier thing to say, oh, writer's block, when it's really I'm generally lazy. I'd rather
Wouldn't
go
that
see a
be
movie.
awful if like that was my point? Like you're just a loser.
You're just lazy and dumb.
This is not an inspirational podcast.
Just get off your butt and put words down.
Have you considered not being a loser?
Sponsored by the other orange.
Yeah.
You are a coward.
I could tell based on your internet searches that you are interested in goods and services and you are a loser.
Wait,
Okay,
so
done.
what's the answer?
So the answer is fear. It's just fear. Usually fear that what you're about to make will not be good enough. That's why I say that your perfectionism thing is an offshoot of that. And that fear ends up growing to the point where it feels like this brick wall that you can't get past. And sometimes it's so big that you can't even really recognize that it's fear. You just think it's this thing that's stopping you. And that convinces you that whatever creative thing that you're thinking of, it's not good enough. Everyone's going to hate it. You'll be embarrassed. You'll never be able to show your face in this town again. But the thing is, writer's block begins to lose its power once you actually realize what it is. Because once you know it's nothing exotic, it's just plain old-fashioned fear, well, that's something we know how to defeat. Because action cures anxiety. So, are you afraid? Are you not feeling like good enough creatively? So what? Sit down and do it anyway. And then you create some more, and then you keep going. Because fear is heavy, it's also slow. And so if you just keep moving forward, eventually you are going to outrun it. Eventually you are going to leave it behind. So it's not really a block, it's a trick. And once you know that, you can take away its power. Understanding this and being able to get around it is an important step in moving from hobbyist to professional. There's a fellow author who once said, writer's block is for writers who don't have to pay rent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chuck Wendig.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel blocked, remind yourself why you love what you do. Take time to experience art that inspires you. Take a little break and then resume making the art of your own, whether you feel inspired or not, even if you're still afraid. Because now that you've unmasked the fear, you can leave it behind. So that's why writer's block is not real, and that's why you don't have it. Thoughts?
I think a lot of that makes sense to me, especially if I'm thinking like, oh, I have a project I'm working on and now I'm blocked on some part of the project. But what would you say, or would you amend what you said in any way for someone who's like, I've completed 5-10 projects or scripts, and for the life of me, I cannot come up with the next one?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, there's that 3%. Like maybe you're just exhausted. I mean, there are life things.
Let's assume I'm well rested and it's been 2 months since I finished my last thing. And I'm like, I got nothing. And it's not like I'm working on something and then I'm worried it's not going to be good enough subconsciously. But I literally, I'm like, I can't write a song to save my life. No poems are coming to me, no scripts, Would you amend what you've said in any way?
Yeah, I would put that under the 3% life stuff. I'll tell you that for me, the time when I've rarely in my life ever lacked for ideas. If anything, I have too many. And so I always kind of thought that feels kind of like a never ending well, which I love, because I could just sit and think of fun stuff all day. But about halfway into COVID, I started feeling like I was emptying out. Which does not normally happen to me. Of course, I have days and times when I'm exhausted or not feeling it, but I felt like there were times when I would kind of reach into that spot and there'd be not much in the tank, which is not normal for me. And I realized for me, my brain is it feeds on new. It's it that's the fuel. So even now, if I find that I'm drained or something, it's that I'm not experiencing enough new or interesting things. And that's part of my process now, even is that if I'm going to do something new or interesting or fun or travel somewhere, I purposely don't write when I'm doing it because I'm filling the tank. And then I come back and, the tank just kind of processes that into the creative fuel. So for me during COVID, because nobody could go anywhere or do anything, I was running out of fuel because I wasn't doing it. I only saw my neighborhood for 2 years. So that was one time where, like kind of life was the problem. So sure, it can happen. I think the majority of time people talk about writer's block, it's not usually something like catalyzed by their life, because usually they recognize that, right? They know, oh, I've had this horrible thing happen, or this thing that's really disrupting me. That's easy to spot. It's the fear part that's sometimes hard to recognize. Oh, that's what's holding me back.
What was it Raymond Chandler who said, whenever I get stuck, armed gunmen rush in? Something like that.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
I like that.
I think I think that's it for me too. I think that when I'm mostly feeling writer's block, it's because I have set a standard for myself that, and true to fear, I've set a standard for myself that I am terrified of not reaching. And I'll tell you honestly, the exercise for me, which is I say with a sort of sadness, like it's really sad that NaNoWriMo is no longer, because NaNoWriMo helped me like crazy.
Me
because
too. Which is
taught
National Novel Writing Month. For those
Thank
who
you.
are listening. Yeah, it usually takes place in
because
November.
it is now defunct. By
It
the
is now
time
defunct.
I didn't know that. I'm learning that in real
they
time
closed
right
its
now.
doors. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
Lots of drama. A lot of drama
Who were
behind
so
running
much drama
it,
last
made
year.
some very questionable decisions, and basically their entire audience turned on them because they were making these questionable decisions and not listening to the people. It's sort of embracing the fact that, oh, we're not against AI scraping all the things that you're going to be writing for this month. And it turned into a real ugly situation.
My understanding, and Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, was that in 30 days in November, you'd write 30,000 words.
50,000 words. Exactly.
50,000 words. Okay.
And what that taught me, and I started NaNoWriMo, I think year 2. Like it was from the very beginning something that I have held very, very closely to my heart. And when I would go through the year and feel like I'm running out of stuff, it's usually because I was afraid to write poorly. And once I got over that, I realized that poor writing can be fun. And it reminds me that I'm also capable of writing well, and that's a real gift of process. That sort of, it's the low stakes that remind me that sometimes just churning out bad stuff is the secret to finding the good stuff. That it's not, it's a fear-based clog in the flow, and you just have to flush it real hard.
That's for all our bathroom listeners. That's for you.
Yeah.
I actually have a point on that too. It's something I had thought about as we were talking about it, and then we sort of moved on, but now we can come back to it. Sam Simon, who is one of the writers of The Simpsons, has said that he is not a great writer, but he is a really good rewriter. So what he does is he writes the bad version. So whenever he has a script, he writes the bad version and then comes in as the guy who's hired to fix this terrible script. And then it lights something up in him and he's like, oh, this is awful. I don't know what this guy was thinking. He basically switches that. And so that part of his brain is much more as a rewriter is much. So that's what I would say to any of these people is write the bad version. Write the terrible, no budget version of whatever this is, the thing that you watched and you go, oh God, I can't believe the thing that MST3K would make fun of. Like write that first and then come back later and go, oh yeah, that's stupid. I could fix that. Oh, this would be way better. Yeah. So
sometimes
get it out.
Sometimes you have to write bad without taste to remind yourself that you actually have taste.
Yes.
That's right.
You might be surprised when you come back and you go, hey, you know what? That's actually the bad version is not that bad.
Yeah.
Permission to write what we call in Hollywood the vomit draft. Just vomit it out, get it on the page. I have literally written dialogue that's like something about how I love you. And then the next character says something about how I'm mad at you, and you just get the pieces. You can get the choreography in place. You know what I mean? You can put up the painter's tape and the butcher paper and not actually put paint on the walls.
Yes.
But not, there's all that advice about do not edit as you're writing. Have the editing process be a different process if you can help it. I can't always. Good for you, but I do think that's really helpful.
And I do think part of overcoming it is finding out the approach that works for you. Like what's the process that works for you? Like, I did NaNoWriMo a couple of years just as a counterpoint to illustrate. It doesn't work for me. I did not enjoy it, and I realized later on once I got more experience because that doing that style just is completely the opposite of the way that I work. I'm an outliner. I keep a very methodical, pace in like, okay, I'm gonna chip away at this until it's done. I just take a lot of time to layer on ideas and things. And so doing like the 30-day sprint doesn't serve me well. However, I realized in talking to other writers who, like me at the time, were, just aspiring writers, that it's perfect for someone who is having a hard time getting anything over the finish line. And if you can like use this as a springboard to say, okay, I'm going to finish something, I'm going to build some confidence, and it's going to be something that is the start of me trying to be more professional and finish more projects. I think it's perfect also for that kind of person as well, and someone whose process is more just goes about writing a book differently. Like a friend of mine who's New York Times bestseller. Her process is like the polar opposite of mine. She gets an idea, and when she kind of knows what the idea is, she shuts herself up in a room for weeks, and probably like she said, like 2, 3, 4 weeks, and she like doesn't come out until it's done. Nobody sees her until it's done, and then she comes out and she's gone feral a little bit because she's locked herself in the in the room for weeks. But then she's spit it all out, and then she goes back and goes through the process of chiseling and reworking and editing, and that's when she reverts to being a human writer again. That's not my process at all. Her process works perfectly for her because it gets her across the finish line.
I think the last bit for me is that writer's block can often be cured by a different coffee shop.
Change of venue.
Change of venue is one of those things that's just magical. And sometimes I get myself so frustrated and I literally forget that I can walk out of my house. And I just get mad. I'm just mad at myself. And I think there is no hope. And it turns out it's the car key in my pocket. And I could go fix this problem elsewhere. And
that's right.
Sometimes it's the simplest things that stand in my way.
Oh man, the coffee shop thing reminds me of a story, and this is a fun story, not a rejection story. So I have a thing where when I'm getting towards like the end game of whatever novel I'm writing, it's like a built up steam like a locomotive at that point, and I just will usually spend it could be anywhere from like 8 to 12 to 15 hours just powering through the last bit because I've built up the whole head of steam, and now I can finish it. Well, when I was writing the last several chapters of the third book in my first trilogy, so this is my first things that got published. It's this one right here behind my head with all the fire on it, called The Genesis Flame. So I hit a point where I was writing like mid-morning or like mid-afternoon, and I thought, I think I can do it. I'm several chapters away, but I'm feeling it. I know I've got it. And I ended up writing for I think 10 or 11 hours that day. And because I didn't start until a little bit later in the day, I moved between, I think, 4 different coffee shops. I closed 4 different coffee shops. So I wrote in the shop I was in till it closed. I went to another one until it closed. And I did the same thing all until 3 or 4 in the morning. And then I came home after the last coffee shop closed and spent 1 more hour and finished the last chapter of my last book. And those 3 or 4 chapters are almost entirely unchanged from my first draft.
I mean, that's thrilling.
Yeah.
It was thrilling. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the point where the characters take over.
Yeah.
They're
and for anyone listening who is experiencing some form of writer's block or just stuck, the book The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron is a wonderful resource to walk you through a program of even just to get in touch with your artistic voice. But she walks you through 12 weeks of beautiful exercises. Like you might have heard of morning pages where you just do a brain dump first thing in the morning. You can take yourself on artist dates where you go see a movie by yourself or you go to the museum by yourself, right? So what Ryan was saying, feeding that kind of inner spirit and getting that newness that Pete loves.
I do.
Very
I mean,
nice.
I like going to dinner and a movie by myself because I recognize I might get lucky later.
We're talking about your breadbasket.
Okay, on that note, do you see this kind of content is why all of these sponsors are clamoring to advertise with us?
They sure
So,
are.
are we ready to hear from our second
This
sponsor?
is we have a brand new sponsor. This is exciting.
See?
All right.
People of Earth, it is I, Gandalf, and I bring to you a message most dire concerning an evil most foul that is sweeping the land. You are all in grave danger of paying too much for a used vehicle. Yes, my warriors of savings, a darkness approaches and it goes by many names. Inflation, interest rates, and plain old-fashioned greed. But I have dedicated my life and my power to holding back this darkness on your behalf. Enter the realm of Gandalf's fine discount, somewhat used automobiles, and you will step into the light. All that is made of hope and good will shine upon you and your wallet, and any offspring you may need to ferry from band practice to soccer matches. Once, the grifters and charlatans held sway in this land, visiting their fiscal malfeasance upon all in their domain, demanding outrageous prices for rusted-out excuses of an automobile. But their time has passed and the age of savings has dawned. Visit my magical realm this Saturday at the corner of Vine and McGillicuddy, and do your part to stand against evil. The first 20 guests will receive a free toaster. Farewell. Powerful stuff.
Saving so good. It's magical.
Oh my
You had me at
goodness.
Vine and McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy.
Again, specificity is key to humor.
Yeah.
Let's explain it some more.
I mean,
everyone listening could see the B-roll because, man,
What was that fairy chick doing half head, half out of the
In the
bog?
the lily. Yeah.
I mean, it was a personal dream of mine just to hear Gandalf say Vine and McGillicuddy. So, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should.
I see the
Brilliant.
connection between the sponsorship and all the cars we talk about on the podcast.
Mhm. Bunch of gearheads.
Bunch of
So
gearheads.
many
That's us.
gearheads.
That's us.
Yeah.
I actually do love cars. I do.
me too. I'm a car guy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, did we just become a car podcast?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I'll see myself out.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not speaking because I get real excited about F1, and sometimes people unplug me when I start talking about F1.
Isn't
So
that true, Pete?
yeah.
The movie looks really good, by the way.
Don't,
I'm
no.
a huge Joseph Kaczynski fan, so
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fine. What's next?
You're next, Pete, with your Mad Lib.
Oh, dear God. Well, I have another Mad Lib. Now, mine has a bit of a story. I taught for many years at a university here in my home state of
Oregon.
And one of the things that students would have to do is submit to me project proposals. And sometimes you get the sense that they may have found a project proposal online. Today, I imagine they just use AI to create a project proposal. This is from an earlier era. And so I dug into my files, and I'll just say the university... I don't know if you've noticed, but higher ed is in shambles right now, and the university is no longer in existence. It closed its doors after 125 years, and I no longer teach there. I feel okay submitting this to you in Mad Lib form. I cannot wait to hear what you do with it. I will use the same rules as Misty. We'll just round robin and see what happens. This is going to be great.
Diddly-diddly-dee.
So we start with Dalton. I need an abstract noun.
Abstract noun.
Abstract
Mhm.
noun?
I
So-
forgot to tell you, I'm going to make you work.
I don't know what that is, Pete.
It's a noun with some abstraction to it.
What? So clear.
Like-
So
Car?
That's
How
not
about-
abstract.
How about y'all?
Okay.
Is
That's with an
enough?
apostrophe, right?
It's who I'm
Of
talking
course.
about is abstract, right?
Okay,
y'all,
that's
y'all,
fine.
Y'all.
How
Who
about
are we if there's not an
Misty?
apostrophe in y'all?
I need an embarrassing emotion, please.
an embarrassing emotion.
I don't think we should be embarrassed about any emotion.
I keep coming up with verbs. I'm
Delight
like
and light.
quivered, whale.
We know what you've been reading.
Leave me alone. It's a bow and arrow quiver.
Oh.
Oh, we all
You
know
still know
about
what
your
I'm
dragon
reading.
Oh,
smut.
My dragon smut. I love my dragon smut. Embarrassing emotion. Sobbed? No, that's still a verb. Shame.
Shame. All right, you're embarrassed about your shame. That's fine.
You're
Hey, Kyle, could you give me an unconventional material?
Polyester.
Okay. Dalton, I need a metaphor.
Oh,
Not a simile.
a PhD in Mad Libs.
Yeah.
We're all getting honorary doctorates.
I am a meat popsicle.
Or would that be like a meat popsicle?
Yeah,
That's a
don't worry.
simile.
Oh, no.
It's good. We're okay.
You made it work? Okay.
It's from the Fifth Element.
So, Steve, I apologize preemptively for this. I need a banal childhood experience.
Wow.
For sure, banal childhood experience. Dropped my ice cream cone.
Oof. Heartbreak.
That is dystopian.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I need Kyle, a famous historical figure.
Marco Polo.
And Dalton, can I have a highbrow art cliche?
Oh, it's a tour de force.
Misty, Misty, can I have a weirdly specific household object, please?
Yes, you may.
She's going to the kitchen. She's opening a
I
drawer.
am going through
She's
the
reaching
kitchen.
in.
You in the
Hiking
Mind
through
Palace?
her
In
memory
the Mind
palace.
Palace.
I'm like,
The White
what's
House.
the funniest? The funniest thing. The old rusted cheese grater.
Nice.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay,
pizza.
I think I've had drinks there.
Rusty cheese grater. Hey, Kyle, could you
Yes.
give me a trend that you hate?
I'll go old school. Planking,
Oh, wow, man.
right?
Nobody likes
Remember
That's
that was a thing?
actually really perfect.
Okay,
How about
nice.
this is good for the wordsmith. Dalton, I need a deep sounding word.
Oh, chasm.
All I thought was boom.
Oh, wait. Sorry. By deep, did you mean profound or physically deep?
Or audibly
both.
deep.
That was both.
Yeah.
That was such a good word.
Yes, that's perfect. Can I have let's see. Misty, I need a deliberately confusing technique.
Ooh.
Does it seem like Misty has gotten the hardest ones
It does.
every
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. And we are great.
Deliberately confusing technique.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sideways circles.
Huh. Okay.
Okay.
Kyle, can I
feel
have
like
a bodily
like-
function, please?
Oh, let's see. like top 5 just went through my head. I don't think that- Bodily function. Sweating. Or sweaty, whatever form you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can I get something needlessly specific? Again, Dalton.
Oh, needlessly
He's
specific.
going through his mental palace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mind palace for.
Palace.
Mhm.
That's
He's
incredible.
He's opening up a drawer. He hasn't used that
Need-
drawer in a while. He reaches in and he pulls
Oh.
out.
Actually, since we're talking about that, how about the conservatory in the Mind Palace?
Oh, it's just a lot of typing.
You know what's great on podcasts is silence and typing.
It is.
I know.
Dead air is the best.
It's next request.
Can I get a seemingly harmless institution?
The United States government.
That's going to cut too close to the bone, Misty.
Oh, no.
No, you want to stick with it? Okay.
Okay, hold on. A seemingly harmless institution.
Mm-hmm.
Your Aunt Pat's canning club.
And okay, we're on the home stretch, everybody. I need an emotionally overwrought noun, Kyle.
Emotionally overwrought noun?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You guys, did you not know? You did not know we're in the chaos part of the show, right?
Oh,
you didn't know that.
Oh my God. So mine was more of the craft. And then
yours was the craft.
I'm so glad my Mad Lib went for
Spare tire? Is that cool?
Emotionally overrun.
Because it never gets used. It's always spare. It's
Okay.
sad. It's like the Brave Little Toaster, but the opposite side of it.
Oh, what a movie. What a movie.
He has one job and he never gets to do it.
Sad little spare tire.
Sad little spare tire.
Can I get Dalton, can I get temperature as expressed through color?
What Pete hasn't said yet is that this is his NaNoWriMo script. 50,000 words long.
Yeah, these better not be ChatGPT prompts that you're
They are not ChatGPT prompts.
Chapter 1, emotionally overwrought. I mean, I guess red hot is the most obvious one, so I'll go with that.
Red hot is good. And I need a non-threatening animal. Misty, that's your best one.
Misty is a non-threatening animal.
This is the easiest one. Non-threatening animal.
You should see me on the dance floor.
Oh.
We're gonna go with baby squirrel Pete.
Oh, baby squirrel Pete.
Yeah, a baby squirrel Pete.
I'm not writing that. And Kyle, I need a form of transportation.
Rollerblades.
Nice.
And I need a corporate buzzword, please, Dalton.
Synergy.
You had that one right on deck.
Synergy.
Yeah. 13 years in the corporate world.
And
before I left.
Misty. I need an intimate personal habit.
Oh. Intimate personal habit.
Mm-hmm. And breadbasket is overused.
Yeah, it's emotionally overwrought at this point.
Well, it is the sixth bodily function. So
A personal habit. Did you say a personal bodily habit?
Intimate personal habit.
Intimate personal habit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say rubbing lotion on feet. If it's personal, I guess that's my feet.
It puts lotion on it.
Now this has become a foot podcast.
Or else
no
it gets the hose
that.
Again.
That's going to get us some
about
interesting
this?
sponsors.
Kyle, I need a verb.
Okay. Just a verb?
Just a verb, please.
Skipping.
Any verb.
And last, Dalton,
Mm-hmm.
I need another metaphor, but again, this needs to be weirder. That's actually the prompt. Metaphor, again, but weirder.
Again,
Metaphor, again, but weirder.
Because you had metaphor last time.
I did.
Yeah.
You need a weirder metaphor.
Mm-hmm. I thought meat popsicle was going to be the pinnacle, but it turns out I need something weirder than that.
Your mother is like the feeling of stabbing my frontal lobe with an ice pick through my nostril.
Can I have everything after stabbing?
My frontal lobe through my nostril with an ice pick.
It's a lot of clauses.
Okay.
We're punchy dialogue people. These like big long sentence people.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think I
I'm
got that.
just talking to Misty right now. We're just having our own sidebar conversation. Even though it's one-sided, it's still going great.
I don't know how. Who knows? I think we're gonna. This is a turnabout fair play part of the show. Misty, it's on the way.
Nice.
Okay. My email?
Oh, wait, was that some turnabout?
Ooh, it's dramatic irony.
Is this in my email, Pete?
It's in your text. Just like you texted
all
me.
Of that is in my
quid pro and quo.
Ooh.
For crying
Wow.
out loud.
Man.
We have one channel.
I'm friends with Pete because he has an edge. Let's make that clear. All right, so Pete, what is this titled before I start reading it?
What was this titled? This is a Mad Lib for pretentious artists.
Cue the completely different dramatic music.
Listen, as a pretentious artist, I need to tell you all something, okay? My current body of work interrogates the unstable relationship between y'all and shame, expressed through the deliberately ephemeral medium of polyester. This series, tentatively titled Whispers of the Meat Popsicle, is both a reckoning and a refusal. Rooted in my early fascination with dropping ice cream cones and haunted by the specter of Marco Polo. My practice operates at the intersection of tour de force and old rusted cheese. My practice operates at the intersection of tour de force and old rusted cheese grater. In a post-planking world where authenticity has been flattened into algorithmic parody, my work strives to reclaim chasm as an act of defiance.
Nice.
That's not all. I have a lot more to say.
Please go on.
Formally, I employ sideways circling to subvert the viewer's expectations of space, memory, and sweat. Through this, I hope to render visible the invisible labor of the conservatory in the Mind Palace and expose the inherent violence in your Aunt Pat's Cannon Club. This project is not an answer, nor is it a question. It is in many ways a spare tire steeped in the red-hot hues of unresolved nostalgia. I am particularly interested in the tension between baby squirrel and rollerblades. and how that dynamic reemerges in conversations around synergy and rubbing lotion on feet. Ultimately, my work asks, what happens when we stop trying to be understood and instead choose to skip the unbearable feeling of your mother stabbing my frontal lobe through my nostril with an ice pick of our own making?
And scene.
And that is how you write a Mad Lib.
Thank you for coming to our slam poetry night.
And that's all expressed through polyester, if anyone forgot.
Ephemeral
The
medium.
medium of polyester really is deep, powerful, and stretchy.
I
guys,
feel we have to end it there. We have to end the episode there.
Yeah.
It's too good.
We'll save updates and stuff for what we're doing for next time then. This has been awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you for enduring my hosting and for all the fun. This was fun. It's always fun.
Tune in
I have
next
an
time.
inspiring quote to take us out, and then Pete's going to take care of his dirty, dirty business.
I have no dirty business.
Ray Bradbury said, "You must stay drunk on writing so reality cannot destroy you."
Nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Mike Tyson said, "Everyone has a plan till someone punches them in the face."
Very true. Very true. You can find the balance between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's between craft.
Yeah.
And
Again, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Hope you all had a really nice
All
time.
right. That's
Thank
episode. That's our episode of Craft and Chaos. Get off the toilet. Thank you.
Don't forget,
tuning in.
head over to the show. You can find the show at truestory.fm/craft and chaos. And in the show notes, there's a link where you can send us your thoughts. We'd like to hear them. Do you have a weird, academically creative Mad Lib for us to do? Send it in. We'll do it. We
have a cure for writer's block.
Zero shame.
Does not exist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, cures for writer's block. Do you just want to hear Dalton no but something that you yes and all the time? Because he'll do it. He'll do it on the show. He'll do it anytime. And you'll be feeling great at the end. I promise. This has been great. Show notes, links. See you next time. on
weird
Whispers
art.
of the Meat Popsicle.
Sponsored by The Other Orange.